Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. Thanks for joining me on this lovely Monday. And let's say hi to everybody and get right into it. Just another announcement about the Rumble exclusive last night. It's something that I'm incredibly passionate about. So if you guys, I don't normally ask to share and all that kind of stuff, but share that Rumble link to your local politicians. I'd really like to get somebody on to debate it. I really would. Either party, either side, I think they're both screwing up. And that's my take. Won't spend a ton of time on that. So, I hope everyone is doing well this lovely morning. Got some snow on the ground here in Michigan, so that's always beautiful. So, I wanted to explain one of the fundamental reasons that we hate the state of Ohio, and the feeling is absolutely mutual. Michigan and Ohio do not get along. We dislike everybody and everything from football to just generalness. Our other neighbors we don't have a problem with: Canada, Wisconsin, Indiana. Like we're pretty tight with them, but Ohio we just, man, it's not love. So we're also streaming on Rumble. And I have a thing on my mic, so give me just a moment to fix that. I hope you guys don't hear that click. If somebody hears the click, let me know, because I can hear it. It's driving me nuts. But anyways, let's get into this. Impish, good to see you. Hope you're feeling better today. Didn't get to say anything to you last night because I didn't. I was kind of caught up in my own little world there, so I apologize. I hope you're doing well. Shade, good to see you. You know a lot about this, obviously. You are, as always, welcome to come on and, provide the other point of view from the armpit of America's perspective. So, what's up, Sleazy? Good to see you, buddy. Yes, affixed the bayonets. This was really a non-eventful war, but something that is personal to me. So, greedy bloke. Good to see you, buddy. I just checked it. I still have that email up. I will get to it today. I have a couple things on the list. Working on it, buddy. Linda Drescher, good to see you. And it's all Sleazy's fault because I was getting a lot of work done, and then he introduced me to a video game, and now I can't put it down. The Apostle Steve, good to see you, bud. Are you hungover this morning? The mightiest of all the meats with the link tree. Pixel, good to see you. What's up, Levy? Good to see you, buddy. I know it's terrible, and I try not to do that. At least I remember about it, though. It's on the list, buddy. I'll get to you. So let's get started. For all my British friends and friends that are not familiar with, why is that there? Oh, not familiar with the landscape of America. Please don't look at any of the, please don't look at any of these pins, because then I'll dox myself. Just act like they don't belong up here in this Michigan area. This is the United States of America. I would beg talk Ohio. Not that Michigan is better. So all the big cities together and fling mud at them. Yeah. Grand Rapids is becoming woke too, which is upsetting. But yeah. Flint, Saginaw is disgusting. No, but I didn't realize what was going on. I didn't realize that you were not feeling well, and I would have said something at least, and feel like it was kind of a jerk move. So I just wanted to apologize because I appreciate you. So, dealing the thumbed rumble over there, so that's nice. Appreciate it. So if we take a look here's the East Coast, here's DC, Philadelphia, New York. This little terrible place is Ohio. It's kind of sandwiched between some really good states. If you watch my tier list, you have Pennsylvania over here, Michigan over here, both really good states. And to update everybody, since there was so much backlash for it, I moved Alaska to an S tier and switched it for Pennsylvania as an A tier. So I made that. So made that switch. This is the great state of Michigan. Here is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. I wanted to turn it to, there we go. So this is the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. The background picture that I have frequently. That picture is the Mackinac Bridge, and that connects these two land masses right here. It's 5 miles long. So this is the fantastic state of Michigan. All right, now that we got that out of the way, there was a war between Michigan and Ohio in 1835, 1836. Hey, what's up, Just Dawn? And this is, where did the thing go? Hang on. Oh, because I clicked on a picture. That's why. So this is the Ohio State-Michigan football game. That kind of reinvigorates it every year. So it's called The Game. I'm not a Michigan fan. I like the Bucks a little bit better, but I'm a Spartan. Is the ice bridge functional? It hasn't been cold enough yet. Like, we don't even have that much snow at my cabin. Like, we have some, but not a lot. I mean, you were just up there. So, was there a lot? I guess I can highlight your comment so you know that I'm talking to you, but so we'll kind of read this article. It's that time of the year again, gorged on turkey and cranberries. We turn our attention to the oldest and nastiest of contests, the Michigan-Ohio State game. This seemed like a good time as any to examine the origins of what ESPN has dubbed the greatest sports rivalry of all time. And this is from diggingdetroit.com. Think the vitriol between the two states dates back to the first matchup between the two football teams in 1837? Not quite. Go back another 60 years or more, and we'll see the roots of a conflict that began with the land dispute, some petty backwoods squabbling, and a fight over all things Toledo, Ohio. If you've never been to Toledo, garbage. But it was a popular shipping destination on the Ohio River that took it to the Mississippi. So back when steamboats were king and supreme and you were trying to get stuff out of, that area, it was really important to have that. So it's a tale with oodles of cranky and colorful characters, ridiculous posturing, congressional intrigue, and a resolution that lost us Toledo but gained us the entirety of the Upper Peninsula, which we happily stole from Wisconsin. We won this war. We won the trade. The UP is so beautiful. For some context, in 1803, Ohio was granted statehood, and its borders were carved out of the Northwest Territories. That great swath of the western frontier covering Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana, and Illinois, Michigan wouldn't see statehood for another 34 years. We were just a territory. I'm a Michigander, born and raised. I can we. Michigan wouldn't, but it was deemed an individual territory in 1805. And that's where the confusion began. The vast area of territory was poorly surveyed, and so no one was sure exactly where the border between Michigan Territory and Ohio State lay. This 468 square mile area became known as the Toledo Strip, and we'll look at that in a minute here. Ohio claimed it was theirs by right in an 1817 survey. Michigan insisted that a 1787 survey granted them the lands. When Michigan petitioned President Andrew Jackson for statehood in 1833, led by the charismatic firebrand Stephen T. Mason, just 22 at the time and dubbed the boy governor, this guy, Washington told Michigan it would need to sort out its borders with Ohio before being admitted to the Union. The swampy, sparsely settled area sat squarely in a prime developing area, the terminus for two railroads and the Wabash and Erie Canal, not to mention protected Lake Erie Harbor at Toledo itself. I am from Michigan. I was born and raised here and love it. And here's where it gets ridiculous. In 1835, sensing an opportunity, Ohio appealed to the president and the Congress to reaffirm that the state line granted Ohio rights to Toledo. Mason, all hopped up on indignance and righteous outrage that only a 24-year-old with executive powers can possess, issued the Pains and Penalties Act. This delightfully named act declared it a crime for any Michigan citizen to set aside or to side with Ohio on the border dispute. That's probably a good reason, because Ohio sucks. He also sent an estimated 1,000 troops down to Toledo, intent on harassing, but not quite attacking, any Ohioans brash enough to hold elections there. Governor Lucas promptly set a surveying party to the disputed territory and rallied up 600 militia to camp out in Perrysburg, 10 miles away. Yeah, Ohio sucks. I owe them no responsibility to pronounce their stuff right. Meanwhile, the action, if we can call it that, happened out in the woods beyond those towns. In April, when Lucas's surveying party reached Lenawee County, I know where that's at, the undersheriff assembled a posse and arrested 9 of the surveys. The rest fled precipitously. After hightailing it back to the safety of Perrysburg, they reported with great drama and not much truth that in this battle of Phillips Corners, they were attacked, fired upon, and harassed by an overwhelming force of murderous Michiganders, hell-bent on committing the grossest outrages on their innocent selves. See, Ohio's liars. This sent the citizens of Ohio into paroxysms of panic. I don't know what that word is. They immediately whipped up an act to prevent forcible abductions of the citizens of Ohio. Oh, this is great. What followed was a bumbling, ridiculous set of skirmishes that the nation watched with mingled amusement and alarm. Murderous Michiganders. I'm glad they don't call them Michiganians, because I wouldn't have picked this article. Anybody calls it a Michiganian, like our current governor, is an idiot. Okay. Well, there's some redeeming people. The ones that get out of there. If you leave Ohio, you're okay with me. As Charles Tuttle's tongue-in-cheek 1873 account notes, a volume might be written relating to the incidents of that bloodline struggle and the story of the privations endured by the citizen soldiers, privations which were occasionally relieved, however, by a raid on a neighboring hen co-op, melon patch, or potato field. Do you want to be timed out, Greedy? That's a good way to get timed out, buddy. No, we're Michiganders. Gander at the beauty of Michigan. The Michiganders. The Great Toledo War. Oh, so this is the strip they were talking about. Ohio had this survey line. Michigan had this survey line. And they were based on different things. And this is the Toledo Strip. As we can see, this actual survey kind of screwed it up anyways. Damn it, Grady. The Great Toledo Wars, in fact, a booze-filled series of bar brawls and testosterone-fueled posturings, made more absurd by the fact that often combatant parties were often unable to find each other in the swampy morass of the borderlands. Michigan bailiffs, sheriffs, and private citizens took the remaining trespassing Ohioans into custody. We should still do that. The single casualty of war occurred in July 1835 when Monroe County Deputy Sheriff Joseph Wood attempted to arrest Ohioans Benjamin Franklin Stickney and his son, Two Stickney. Now it's called Stay Out of My State. Two Stickney. That's a... God damn it. That's his name. Two Stickney. Two being the second son after his brother, One Stickney. Two pulled out his penknife, stabbed Wood in the side, and hot-footed it back to Perrysburg. So, what? I did read the next sentence. Quack. Wood, after securing Benjamin Franklin Stickney into custody, retired to a tavern with his grievous wound healed itself, probably with the aid of a whiskey or three. It took some time to get Stickney the elder to jail, as he refused to sit upright on the horse to which he was tied, and instead flopped on the ground like a gutted fish all the way to Monroe. That would be a long way by horse from Lenawee County to Monroe. Hot-footed back to Perry. Well, maybe they took him from Perrysburg to Monroe. Still kind of by horse, that would be a journey. Finally, President Jackson stepped in to resolve the squabble between the two frontier brothers. A bit busy himself, what with Texas declaring independence and a recent assassination attempt, and the Second Seminole War, because the United States was at war and skirmishes all over at this time. We were trying to make borders and resolve differences, so trying to work out the new system. Growing pains. Jackson had enough in his petty backward comedy. Hang on. I'm going to read this whole sentence again because I got sidetracked. A bit busy himself, what with Texas declaring independence, a recent assassination attempt, and the Second Seminole War, Jackson had enough of this petty backwards comedy of errors. In no uncertain terms, Jackson and Congress told Michigan that the Toledo Strip was Ohio's and took steps to remove the young Hotspur from office, our governor. At June 20th, 1835 Act of Congress essentially told the two young principalities to cut it out. They didn't want any of that. I was actuated only by a desire to prevent a collision between two authorities, Michigan and Ohio militias, and I had flattered myself that I had appealed to one whose age, wisdom, and experience and patriotism would ensure a successful result. Had the conciliatory feelings manifested by Michigan been met with the spirit of forbearance, much of the bitterness which is now mingled with the controversy might have been avoided. But, he continues, I will not pursue the subject. It would ill become me to speak of the manner in which the propositions of Michigan have been met by the executive of Ohio. Self-respect and the official courtesy due from one state to another forbid the imitation of an irritating example, however elevated may be the source from which it has proceeded. Anyone with a sibling can relate to the affronted, he's on my side. First, he started it. Sentiment behind Mason's outraged address. Despite his plaisings, he was outed late August. Jesus, sorry. Toledo Strip, giggity. So we have a road. That reminds me. We have a road called Dix Road, D-I-X, and it's actually Dix Toledo Road. But there's a strip club on Dix Toledo in Detroit that's called Chicks on Dix. So it's CHICKSONDIX. Great name. The war concluded with a fittingly silly and anticlimactic resolution. After plenty of missives to and from Washington, Ohio determined that it was needed to secure, once and for all, Ohio's claim to Toledo was a judicial cession in the disputed city. Well, I used to hang out there. Yeah, the surveying was terrible at the time. Like, that is not Michigan at all. And this was the cutoff line of what was ours. So, yeah, not great. I'll share a picture with you one day from there. Remind me, Greedy. Finding judges willing to travel through such dangerous territory proved challenging, though. I'll let Charles Tuttle describe the ignoble end to the farcical disagreement. Yes. I don't even know if it still exists. I haven't been there in a while. I groan. Oh my God, it's closed. See, when I stop supporting them, they're gone. Oh, it's CHIX. It's on Fort Street. Well, it's by Fort Street. So it's downriver. Chicks on Dix. but it is now closed. That's a travesty. Travis Shamrocracy. Yes, do that too. Sleazy, you want to buy this club? Like, it has a great name. We can make it better. You thought I was just making it up. I wasn't. The colonel of the regiment finally came to their assistance. He upbraided the judges for their cowardice and hesitation, and proposed to take the honor of the state into his own keeping. Yes. Well, you grow up, and then you get older and have family. They knew it was coming. Stepping in front of the soldiers, he called for volunteers for a hazardous undertaking. A few brave men answered the call. The trembling judges placed themselves under the charge of this forlorn hope. It's probably really cheap, too, because it's in Detroit. And at 3 o'clock on Monday morning, the 7th day of September, A.D. 1835, they sneaked into Toledo, hunted up a schoolhouse, held court about 2 minutes, and then ran for dear life back to Maumee, Ohio. Thus did the state of Ohio triumph over her enemies. Thus did her patriotic sons sustain her dignity. Thus did the brave soldiers throw themselves in the imminent and deadly breach. They kind of ran like cowards. Essentially, the war was over. Michigan delegates continued to crow that Ohio's occupation of the borderlands should be avenged, but the fight was over. It was clear to the territory's lawmakers that if they wanted statehood, they would have to accept the redrawn border and secede Toledo. To soothe our wounded egos, however, Congress threw in the lands of the Upper Peninsula, then belonging to the Wisconsin Territory, and the state of Michigan entered the Union in its current shape in January 1837. Wisconsin had no say in this transaction and still hold it against us. Not having large enough population to influence anyone, so sorry Packers and Badgers fans, blame Ohio, not us, we always do. Excuse me. So that is a little bit about it. Wait a minute, what? I performed? I cannot confirm nor deny. I can't comment. Plus, it was the one around the corner. Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, there's a hatred. I don't think so. Am I? No. I'll look it up, though. We'll watch this short video. I knew this wasn't going to be a terribly long topic, but it's one that I wanted to cover for sure. So.
Remember that conflict between Ohio and Michigan? Oh yeah, the Ohio-Michigan football rivalry. Well, no. I'm actually talking about the time back in 1835 where the states of Ohio and Michigan almost went to war over Toledo. It all started back in
was it dead
1787 when
silent?
Congress drafted the Northwest Ordinance, which stipulated that 260,000 square miles of territory surrounding the Great Lakes would eventually be carved into a handful of new states. Specifically, the law stated that the border between Ohio and Michigan was drawn on an east and west line drawn through the southerly
So yeah, he's gonna talk a little bit more.
bend or extreme of Lake Michigan until it intersected with Lake Erie. There was just one problem. This was the best available map at the time, and it depicted Lake.
My brain is constantly going other directions. Squirrel, shiny object, balls. Strip clubs, you know. Look at this map, though. This is terrible. Like, that's real Michigan. Look at this map. Let's play a video and I'll think about that.
Michigan's southern tip as being several miles north of its true location. So as a result, the original border placed the mouth of the Maumee River in the future city of Toledo in northern Ohio rather than in southern Michigan. So when Ohio was admitted into the Union in 1803, they sort of slipped a line.
I didn't freeze again. I was thinking about answering your question.
Into their constitution, hoping no one would notice that said they would own the land around the Maumee no matter what any future surveys would say. Well, everything looks good, but what about this part here where it says you own all this extra land? Isn't it supposed to go to the Michigan Territory instead? Oh, it's supposed to be a reservation for the Michigan Indian tribe, not the Michigan Territory. Oh, well, manifest destiny. Have it then. But once the Michigan Territory was formed, their representatives began to argue that the region was theirs, as their land surveys supported their claim. So Ohio
See, we were right. Ohio lied.
just conducted their own survey in response, and its results supported their claims. Well, by 1825, the Erie Canal was finished connecting the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean. So now the town of Toledo was expected to grow into a large commercial hub, making it even more valuable. So at this point, both sides scrambled to take control of it.
Now Toledo's a mess. It's absolute garbage.
The Michigan Territory began to build roads and collect taxes there. Meanwhile, Ohio complained to Congress and was actually able to block Michigan's request for statehood. Shit really hit the fan when Michigan's 23-year-old governor passed the Pains and Penalty Act, which levied jail time on any Ohio officials who tried to exercise authority in the Strip. Not to be outdone, the governor of Ohio passed a bill that extended Ohio's boundaries into the Strip and contracted a team of surveyors to remark the boundaries. On April 9th, 1835, some Michigan sheriffs went into Toledo and arrested several Ohioan.
It's filter. It's how much of a rumble rant would I take to tell this whole story? Because then there's going to be pictures and people are going to look and I'll be outed and it will be a bad deal.
Officials and tore down an Ohioan flag and effing burned it. Then
You should burn Ohio flags. What if we give you guys, since you have all the terrible cities like Cincinnati and Cleveland, we'll keep Detroit. You can have Flint and Saginaw.
on April 26, a Michigan militia assaulted an Ohioan survey team by shooting guns over their heads. Later in the fall of 1835, the Ohioan governor had announced a court session in Toledo to establish Ohio's rights over the land. In response, the Michigan governor sent 1,200 militiamen to Toledo. But when they got there, they found out that the Ohioans had conducted a secret midnight court and already fled. Things got
F you were out.
so bad, Andrew Jackson had to take a break from genociding Native Americans and intervene. Michigan, look, you can be a state if you stop claiming Toledo. And in return, you can have, this peninsula. And so with a stroke of a pen, the conflict was resolved. At first, a lot of Michiganders were salty about this deal, as the Upper Peninsula was thought to be worthless. Until they found iron and copper, then everyone was happy.
There's a ton of iron. There's a ton of copper. The UP is a great place. Like, it's fantastic. We won this trade.
So really, Ohio lost the war, as they got Toledo. This has been Cow Guy Pig, and thanks for watching.
So there's a 3-minute short video on it. So Cincy is not fine. Do we get the football program? Because we'll just blend it into Michigan State. Upers are not odd. They're good people. So my cabin is somewhere in this general vicinity. It's absolutely gorgeous. So here's this. I'll take you on a trip up here. That's what I'm saying. So this is where the Sioux locks are. So the locks that take you into Lake Nicollet and then take you into Huron and Erie, or Huron and Michigan that take you down to Erie. This is Lake St. Clair. This is Lake Erie. I know. Hey, we're building something in East Lansing. That's why it's called Beast Lansing. Shit. Sorry, Greedy. Yeah, please subscribe to my channel. So these are the Sioux locks. So these connect you to Lake Huron, Lake Michigan. This is Lake St. Clair. That takes you to Lake Erie, Ontario, and then out the St. Lawrence Seaway to the ocean. A couple other places I've noticed. My cabin is somewhere in this general vicinity here in the woods. Thank God. Thank God. Yeah, you want to come hang out? So there's a lot of iron mining and there's a lot of rail in this area here. This is Iron Mountain. So there's a bunch of iron mines like in this area right here. This is Wisconsin. And then if you go up here, it's called Copper Harbor because there's a bunch of copper mines all throughout the peninsula right here. The Keweenaw Peninsula. What? Yeah, I got a notion 20-minute walk for me. If I come out that way, will you meet up with me? I haven't been up that way ever. I want to. So this is Houghton Hancock. A couple things. One, this is where Michigan Tech is. So they do a lot of the mining school and stuff like that. And Quincy Mine. This one's closed. I've been there. Okay. Okay. I don't know when we're going to get out there, but I definitely want to head that way. See, there's Michigan Tech. They do a lot of mining and stuff like that. There is also a satellite propulsion manufacturer for space. You see? Rockets. Tied it in. There's a satellite manufacturer for propulsion systems that I know of up there. So, yes. Pretty much Minecraft University. So they do a lot of mining and stuff like that. So that's kind of the UP. I can show you where my cabin is. I'll show you a better block. So this is the lake that we can get to by the river. So it's somewhere in this block. Right here. So now you have a general radius. So go find it. There it is. Michigan, Korea had something in common. No, we don't. What do we have in common? No, Pixel. That's it's actually called Orbion Space. But I know the other one obviously as well. So yeah, I'm somewhere in this vicinity here. If you take Nobbin Way up this road to H40 or go all the way to Engadine, H40, you get there. Scenery's beautiful. National Forest is beautiful. Grand Marais is beautiful. And then next week we're doing shipwrecks of Michigan. So I'll give you a little it's actually on the Sportsman's Club. So this is Whitefish Point. So this is if you've heard of the Edmund Fitzgerald sank right in this area here, right off the coast. This is Whitefish Point. When the November storms came in and the waves got heavy, it would destroy ships. Like, it was nasty for ships. But if you made it past the point, you were safe because then you were in calm water. Yeah, there are so many. At home, down here, we don't get lake effect. Up at the cabin, yeah, we do. Well, I think we have like 1,100 members up there. So, but yes, very good song. That's kind of our Michigan folklore. But there are so many shipwrecks in these lakes that we could do it for a long time. If any of you guys are in Jeff's chat, Legal Vices, I'm trying to get him to come over and do a shipwrecks or two with me on History Mondays. So spam him, tell him to hang out with me. But these are the Great Lakes. I always thought this one looked like a wolf. I don't like effect. Downside of living near the ocean. Yeah, because you got the warm water or warm air coming up with the water. So, could you live in Massachusetts? You don't have to dox yourself, but I think you've already said it. So, correct? No? Yes? No? Yes? No? Maybe? Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. Yeah, I think it would be really cool too. So spam Jeff. Tell him to join us for shipwrecks. There's some really cool ones. Obviously, the Edmund Fitzgerald is one of our main ones, but there are so many. So we could have fun with that. So, like I said, this is a shorter show. I wanted to hit 45 minutes, and we just did. So, Humphreys of Dorchester. What's that? Like I said, I'll think of that Rumble Rant number to talk about that. But thank you guys for stopping by. No show tonight unless I change my mind. If we do, I haven't talked to Hayden yet, but we might play some Sea of Thieves, but nothing crazy or interesting. So I'll let you know. Imagine all the logs down there worth so much for being underwater. Yeah. And also because of the nuclear tests, there's a ton of contamination. So metals that are shipwrecked are worth so much. So I'm going to try not to, but if I do, we're just going to be playing video games. I have nothing prepared for this evening. So, but all right, y'all. Thanks for stopping by. Hit that like on the way out, and we will see you probably in Hayden's. Take care, guys.